Let's do some comforter. So here's a bubble bar from Lush. I have 2 of them. It smells like blackberries, in case you're wondering. Okay, so I'm going to put them down. Focus y'all back down. Okay, so here's the comforter. Take your hammer and your screwdriver. And if you can see on this one, it's like really cracked. So those are like perfect spots to hit it at, is the cracks. So I'm going to put it in there on this one. Let me see if I can move you guys closer without, nailing my laptop. Okay. And then you just hit it on the crack. That one's split already, very easy. Put it over here. There's another split. So there's now 3 chunks of the comforter. You can do this in as many or as little chunks as you want, but one thing to remember is if you make it too small, then you're not really going to get the full benefits out of it. If you're only putting like a size of a quarter amount in there, you're not going to get a lot of bubbles. So for comforter, I'll split it into 3. So there's 1 chunk, 2 chunks. So you can see it really doesn't take a lot of time to do this. I just sat here one night over Christmas break and just sat there with my hammer and just went to town and broke up all of my bath bombs and all of my bubble bars, and then I went over and cut all my soap. So when you do that, yeah, it takes a lot of time when you have a lot of product, but otherwise it's pretty easy to do. So here's the next one. Here's Supernova, which is another bath bomb from Lush. This one, if you can see, it looks like it has Fruity Pebbles in it because it has all sorts of confetti. So this one, I'm kind of interested to see what the inside looks like. Next one. So here's Supernova. So you can see right there, I'm putting it on. And then I'm going to take my hammer and hit the top. And there's the crack. And so you can see what I'm doing at the top too, is I'm holding it like this, and I'm just hitting. And I'm just tap, 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 tap until it breaks. So let's show you what's inside of Supernova. Doo-doo-doo-doo-doo. Oh, it's so pretty. See all the little chunks? See all those little chunks? Lots of chunks. So that's Supernova. And it smells like candy to me. I like the way Supernova smells. To me, it's like a candy snow showers. Oh, I was in Lush today. Let me flip this back up. I went into Lush today to pick up a couple more of the magic mushrooms because I only had 1. And when I was in there, there was a lady who was looking for snow showers like I was, like frantically, like over at the shower jellies. And she was like, do you have snow showers? And she's like, no, but we have 4 other shower jellies. And it's like, no, I want snow showers. So I thought it was funny. And in my mind, I'm like, I have 4 of them now, but I know you're paying. But I didn't really want to sell one to her. Plus, I didn't have it with me, and that'd be kind of weird. So, all right, let's show you the top. Tap, 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 tap. Tappy, tap, 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 tap. All right, I got to focus or I'm going to nail my hand. Down. This is another Supernova. I have 2 of them, I think. Yeah. Split. Splits. I like doing this. It's a nice little stress relief. And for the person who was throwing your bath bomb, see how pretty that is? Who was throwing your bath bomb against the wall. Doesn't this look a lot easier? I bet it looks a lot easier than throwing it against a wall or throwing it against the tub. I had to do that. I had picked one out on our way up to a cabin, and I didn't cut it. I hadn't cut it before we left. So we were up in the cabin, and I'm in there throwing my bubble bar. I think it was marzipan. I'm in there throwing it against the tub, like the corner of the tub, and Eric walks in. He's like, babe, what are you doing? I was like, it's not breaking. So I finally got it to break. All right, let's do another bubble bar, and then I'll move on to soap. This is Ma Bar, bubble bar. These are a little easier to cut, but I'll just take same method on a bubble bar as you saw with comforter. Screwdriver in, and I just put it in the middle, and then tap, 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 and it breaks. Tap it, tap, tap, and it breaks. So there's Ma Bar. So there's that one. Okay, so now let's move on to soap. Because I still have at least 10 items in this box that I need to break. Like, we haven't even made a dent. You want to see how full this box still is? Like, we haven't even made a dent. So I'll be doing this for a while. So let's move on to soap. Before you guys get bored and I have like a, 5-part bath bomb breaking series, which I probably could do. So here's Bohemian. This one might be a little harder to cut, probably not the best one to show you as an example because it's really, really big. Another thing is it's not always best to cut your soaps until you're ready to use them. Because if you're cutting them and then you're leaving them out somewhere where they'd be exposed to air, then they're going to dry up a lot easier. So I generally don't cut my soaps until I'm getting close to use them. Except for that one night that I did all of my soaps before I realized that you should wait. But that was before, so I'm warning you now. So what you do, I just take my butter knife and slide it in. And it takes a little more pressure to cut soaps. So I just, let me turn my watch over. Okay, so you just slide it through. Ooh, that's hard to do. This is like a giant chunk, and I really wish they'd cut this for me. If you ask in a store, they'll cut it for you. But I just turn it over, and you just wiggle, like wiggle, 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 and put pressure on the back part of your knife, like back here, so that way it doesn't, you know, break halfway. So you just put pressure on it, and one thing you can do if you have a really thick piece, like this one's a really big chunk, you can just turn it over. Like this is a $16 slice that I got buy one get two free. So if you just keep turning it over and putting it back in that same crack, by the time you get down, you know, to your last turn, it's going to be really, really easy to cut through. And it smells like lemon, see? So then it just cuts right off. And then there's a slice that you could take into your shower and use like that. That one's a little harder because it was so thick. Here's a slice of Angel's Delight. So this is pretty thin. This one I really would just use like this. But for video purposes, I'll cut it for you. So I basically just take the knife and you wiggle, 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 and it cuts. So on thin soaps, it's not as big of an issue as it is for like Bohemian, like how thick that was. You know, they will slice right through. So that is how I cut my Lush soaps. It's very easy. I don't heat up my knife. I don't do anything special with it. But it is a knife that has serrated edges on it. So that does help. Make sure you have one that has those little ridges. Otherwise, it will be a lot harder to cut. But that is how I cut apart my Lush. Emoda bombs are very easy. You just snap. They're really thin. They're really easy to break, so I just snap those. If you wanted to cut a massage bar up, do it the exact same way you do your soap. Those are really soft too, so you just slice right through them like butter. What else would you break? Let's see here. I have a bath melt. Same theory as the bath bomb. You take your screwdriver and your hammer, tap, 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 and watch it break in half. Things like that. So it's not, you know, it's really not as hard as a lot of people think it is. I'll do another chunk of Sultana really quick. So here's Sultana. This is one of my favorite soaps. I love it. It's just so creamy. Alkmaar and Sultana are very similar, by the way. So there's Sultana, big old chunk. And go back down. I'll move those out of my way. I know it's a very like ancient hammer that probably belonged to someone that worked for us. And they left it here. So here's what you do with Sultana. Look how easy this cuts through. Like wiggle, 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 done. Some of these soaps are really, really creamy and they'll be really easy to slice through. But soaps like Bohemian are going to be harder. But you saw how I did that one. You just turn it over, you know, keep turning it all four sides and cutting through parts of it. And it'll make it, you know, a lot easier to cut than sitting there forcing it down. So there's Sultana. There's a nice little chunk of it. So if you guys have any more questions, I hope that this helped a lot of you and you are not going to have to throw your Lush against a wall or outside or like jump on it. I really hope this helped, and do not break your hand or cut a finger or injure yourself while doing this because I'm not liable. I told you to get help and have supervision, so get supervision and then enjoy your bath and relax because it's going to be fabulous because it's Lush. And I'll talk to you guys soon. All right. Bye, guys.